Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl, BD.
Sforen's the fiance.
And we are back.
We back.
First of all, this episode is late, but that's only because we're giving you 2 episodes for the price of 1.
Whoop, whoop.
On the same day, which also means that there will be no episode on Sunday.
Did I tell you how when I was in Nigeria I saw a sign that was like, it was 1 for the price of 2 on the shoe outside the shoe shop, and I was like, so
of course, so
I'm paying double
less.
for 1. Like,
yeah, you just think to yourself, like, wow.
Oh my god!
How did you not have to go through proofreading before it was?
Literally, like, how did we get here?
Honestly,
how did we get
but yeah,
here?
in life, nothing is free. So you get these 2 episodes, but then obviously there's no episode coming out this week. Our next episode is going to be the 18th of September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Great. Now that admin's out the way. So this week we are covering the House of Hammer documentary that is on Discovery Plus. So on TikTok, someone was like, "Oh yeah, that they didn't get the victims' approval to do the documentary, or they reached out to some of them and they said no, that they don't want to be part of it, and that they shouldn't make the documentary." But then also they have some victims who are talking. So I don't know, it's kind of strange, but it's we'll get into that later on anyway.
I think we should. I'm happy they did it.
What, the documentary?
Yeah.
I feel weird about the documentary. Like, I guess we'll go into it more, but it's kind of just like, what was the point? Like, they could have just done this about the family. It's almost like they used this scandal of Armie Hammer coming out, and they were like, oh great, let's go into the whole thing, when really they could have made a documentary about how fucked up this family was before, if that's what they wanted to do. They're kind of just like piggybacking on the whole,
but I guess they didn't. Anyways, let's get into it.
Yeah. So episode 1, also we're splitting this into 2 parts. So our episode 1 is going to be episode 1 and half of episode 2, and then the rest of it is going to be our episode 2, as always, right? So episode 1 is called Love Bomb. And it opens up with on-screen text which says, "This documentary contains graphic descriptions of violence, sexual abuse and coercive control." So that's like a trigger warning, and I understand if that's something like enough to put someone off watching the documentary and listening to the episode. So that's like a trigger warning. It gets really weird and dark and strange, so like if that's a thing for you, I wouldn't listen or watch the documentary. So I'm not really trying to play any audio of Armie Hammer, because like, fuck Armie Hammer, but we hear this voice note that he sends to someone, and he's proposing a bet. He's like, if he wins, he can go to her house with his quote unquote bag of goodies, no Sierra, inside which he says there's a lot of shibari rope with which he will tie her up. He says incapacitating her and doing whatever he wants to her. That use of incapacitating is so strange, because like, that means you're really not okay up there.
Yeah. Like, it's just, I don't know, why would you want to be with someone sexually that can't, I don't want to say fight back, but like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, can't respond. It's so very fucked. Strange. Yeah.
So you remember that time we did that documentary about sex dolls? Yeah. I feel like this is somebody who maybe would benefit from one of those, but then also they wouldn't, because he's sick in the head and it's about it being human.
he wants
but
a lot
it's like,
more.
if they could just satisfy their fucked up cravings with a sex doll, like, cool, maybe then it makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Not narcolepsy,
because that's what he wants. He just wants a breathing one.
Necromancy. Isn't that what it is?
What?
When you want to like fuck corpses, necrophilia. Necrophilia, that's the word.
Yeah. So we get this reel of who he is and all these weird messages that leak on social media, and I can't lie, like, I didn't know who he was really before all this. Like, they say he was in a social network, and I've seen a social network, but like, I didn't really have any recollection of who he was. And even when I found out what character he played, I still I couldn't envision him.
Yeah, I guess it was all about Justin Timberlake though.
Oh, was Justin Timberlake in it as well?
He was, but you know what? I remember the other guy in it.
The one with the floppy hair.
That was in Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah. The magic one, the magic show.
Yeah,
that's who I remember. When I think social network, that's who I think of.
Yeah, because I find him weirdly sexy. I think it's his.
I don't agree, but I hear it. Yeah, it's the nonchalance and I'm just sloppy.
The evil genius. He's always an evil genius.
Yeah, exactly. And genius is sexy, so there you go.
There you go.
So the intro is just dramatic music, and it's showing the family tree and basically all these male hammers, which is the family name, which lets me know that this documentary is basically going to be more about their family and the fucked upness of that rather than the victims and their experiences, right? And this like family tree thing, they bring it up periodically, and I think it's helpful because like, who are all these niggas? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I find it really helpful. So the first person we meet is Courtney Vucekovic, and she looks really, really nervous to be here. Like, the anxiety is all over her face. Like, I just want to give her a hug. Like, I just want to envelope her and be like, girl, it's going to be okay. Because you can just see. And it's like, it's almost as if like, so the director in the documentary, they press record and then like, she's just kind of like sitting there ready, like trying to get ready for them to ask whatever question. It's like she's not aware that they're recording yet. I don't know, but you can see it.
She does, she does look nervous. Yeah.
She looks really, really nervous. So she is the CEO and founder of an app called Flashed. So she's like her own person, right? She's, you know, doing her own thing, living her own life. And she was in a relationship with Armie Hammer, during which time she tells us she loses her entire sense of self, which I think is a very scary place to be.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of happens to women a lot, like getting married or being in a relationship, becoming a mother. Like, it's all, your identity becomes tied to someone else, and then like that's just who you are.
It happens very easily.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's winter 2019 in Dallas, where she's from, and she meets Armie in a bar. At this point, she doesn't really know who he is. They kind of speak, she goes home, and then the next day he follows her on Instagram and she follows him back. And he seems like a normal person, but don't they all? Okay?
Bro.
And then it's COVID. No one's really doing anything. You know that time when it was first lockdown and everyone was just like jobless, yeah?
At first, I remember thinking, this is going to be good. Like, we just chill at home, work from home. And then it just turned into this nightmare.
Mate, that lockdown, yeah. So Armie messages Courtney, and like, she's not dumb in it, so she Googles him because he's a famous person, and she sees that he's married. But he says to her, oh, actually, we are married, but we're separated. We've been separated for over 2 years. I'm like, okay, so he's married. Great. So they're talking and sharing deep things about themselves, and Courtney tells him she used to be in an abusive relationship, and they seem to have like a really good bond. And Armie's always complimenting her. She describes it as love bombing, and that's the title of the episode. She's like, it just kind of feels perfect. It feels good. Like, he's good looking, he's tall, he's famous. Like, why would he want her, is how she feels. Like, she feels inadequate. It's almost like, oh wow, like, little old me, why would you want me? Let me not do anything to fuck this up, which I think is a ploy. It's kind of like when we talk about the power dynamic between like people dating when there's a big age difference, or if it's like a boss and an employee. It's like that sort of thing, like, oh, you're so successful, why would you want me? You know, and then you're more easily manipulated.
Speaking of that, have you seen this whole thing about Demi Lovato? And
no, I haven't. I've seen like little things about her, but I don't know what's going on.
So she basically released this song called 29, and without saying his name, it's about that guy. He's from That 70s Show.
He's from That 70s Show.
Yeah, okay. They were dating, and it's basically just a song saying like, yeah, this was your dream, not mine. Like, you were 29, I'm at that age now, and it was wild that we dated.
How old was she when they were dating?
So they started dating officially when she was 18, but
and he was 29.
He would have been 30 at that stage. They met when she was 17 and he was 29. But then I thought, funny enough, I thought it was weird that she released this song, because when, you know, she had like that drug thing, and then she collapsed and all of that, and then she went to rehab.
Okay, yeah.
From my understanding, they were broken up at that time, but he was the one that supported her through that whole thing. Like, so then I just found it strange that like you've split up, he supported you through that, and then like he's married and moved on, and then you release this track.
But I feel like sometimes you just
delayed response.
It's a delay. Sometimes you just deep it and like, rah, that was actually fucked. Like, that was actually fucked.
I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of the actual relationship. I never heard anything negative.
I didn't know they were together. I mean, that's not my side of the
for years. Anyway, so. Yeah, but it's not about. Did you not watch Disney?
Yeah, I watched them. What's it? What's this Camp Rock? Place?
No, that's Selena Gomez.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Oh, we're talking about Demi Lovato.
Oh, fucking hell. Let's go back to the documentary. Nah.
So which one is Demi Lovato then? What was she in?
Demi Lovato is the bum chin.
I know who she was in. Camp Rock. Like.
Camp Rock.
With
Joe Jonas and all them lots.
Do you know, in my head, they are one and the same.
I mean, they were best friends.
Am I the only one? Maybe that's why. Okay, so this is the way we replace with Selena Gomez. Yeah. Is Demi Lovato the one that's in, you know that show on Disney Plus, Only Murders in the Building? Is Demi Lovato that one?
That is Selena Gomez.
Okay.
Fucking hell, mate.
Yeah, okay, maybe I don't know who's Demi Lovato. No, Demi Lovato.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so
like, can we actually like?
Wow, uncultured swine.
You know Demi Lovato, she has the bum chin.
Do you know
Sorry,
what?
they go by they.
Hold on, let me Google this because
actually I think they go by they and she.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Yeah. So which one is? Oh, I should just type her by herself. Hold on, wait, because they're next to each other. Hold on.
Oh my God.
Okay, yeah. That's who I was envisioning in my head, but I think that I have taken her and Selena and meshed them together. So what was she in? It's kind of like her only thing.
No, she's been in lots of stuff. She's like a Disney Disney, whatever. It's like saying what was Raven in.
Oh, come on, let's put some respect on Raven's name. I've been rewatching That's a Raven.
But she's all weird now, so I can't rewatch it because I was like, how? No,
it's still good. It's still so good. That show was before its time. It was such a good show, and we were like children then. And I'm watching it as an adult, and I'm like, wow, this is really good. Anyway, enough of that. So we meet this journalist called Seth. I put his name is Seth, journalist. He has a surname. I didn't write it down. He interviews Hammer.
Imagine if it is journalist.
And his middle name is there. So Armand Hammer, who's like the patriarch of the family, he's Army's great granddad. Yes. Yeah. He's Army's great granddad. And this is why the family tree was so helpful. So yeah, we learn about Army's childhood. His dad moves them to the Cayman Islands randomly. I think he's like 7 or something. Oh, I don't know how old he is actually. They come back when he's in the 7th grade. So that's where the 7 came from. But yeah, so he moves them to the Cayman Islands. And everyone's kind of like, why? The Cayman Islands is associated with like moving money or hiding funds or assets or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So they never really go into why they move, but we can assume it's something to do with that. Something a bit dodge. So he comes back to LA in the 7th grade and he starts acting. And then he gets the Social Network gig, which does really well. But then after that, all the other movies that he does flop. Except one, which is called Call Me By My Name. Nope, that's Nas.
Call Me By Your
Name. That's Lil Nas X. Call Me By Your Name.
But it's a really good movie. Have you
seen it? No, I haven't seen it. Is it good?
It's really good.
Well, I'm not going to watch it now, but yeah, I'll take your word for it.
Okay, I think you should, but yeah.
Really, is it good? Is it really good?
It's good. It's about...
What's it about?
Like, synopsis. It's about a romance between a teenage boy and a grown man who's a family friend over a summer.
Oh.
Salacious. And it has that like hairless chest guy, Timothy
Chalamet.
Hamlet. Oh,
is it? Is the one that was wearing the blouse?
Yeah, Timothy. What's his name?
Chalamet, I think. Chalamet. Let me check because you know my track record. Let me check, please.
He gives me.
It's spelled with Timothy. Yeah, Chalamet. Okay, it's spelled cool. like Timothy Chalamet. Yeah.
I don't know why people fancy him.
Timothy
do you want to go to Harry Styles' concert?
No, it's because of his bone structure. Do you know what it is? He gives that sort of moody white boy.
He gives androgynous.
Yeah,
in his face.
Yeah, and that's attractive.
But I don't think you heard what I said because I said randomly, do you want to go to Harry Styles' concert?
Who wants to go to Harry Styles' concert?
Do you?
Do I? Is it ticket free?
No.
Then no.
Okay.
I do know. I haven't listened to his album, but I like the songs that I've heard.
Yeah,
so I feel like it'd be a good time.
Do you know what this is giving me when I said who wants to go to Bruno Mars concert and everyone does like nah. Then
no,
everyone
I want to go to Bruno Mars concert.
No, this was back before everyone listened to
24 when he was catching grenades.
And then they were like, and everybody's like, oh, like I really wish we had gone to the concert. And I was like, fuck off, because I'd listened to the album and nobody else had, and I was like, this album is actually really good.
No, but I've actually been wanting to see him since 24 Karat thingy came out.
Okay, but we had the chance and everybody was looking at me like
we'll do
seven
Sonic.
Different. That concert is never happening.
Why?
Because it's been over a year they released the album. No? they're all coked out. Oh God, Coke and Harry Coochie. They're deep in both. Like, anyone interested in going with me to Harry Styles, let me know.
Yeah, if it's free, I'll go. What were you even talking about? Yeah, so yeah, Call Me By Your Name. That does really, really well. So he has Social Network, which does well. Call Me By Your Name does really, really well. And then he kind of has this whole, perfect movie star persona. He's married, 2 kids, comes from pedigree, quote unquote. You know how much we hate that word. And he's like one picture of him wearing like a Time's Up badge, like trying to support the causes, which is just so ironic.
So ironic.
However, there's whisperings of him being into BDSM, and when Seth the journalist asked him about it during the interview, Army shuts it down right away, which is like,
I don't know why he would.
I feel like
it's not a bad thing if you like.
This is the
BDSM.
thing. I feel like it's a thing where it's like, yeah, cool, your sex life is personal, so if you don't want to talk about it, I get it. But then also, like, this is like, you shouldn't be shamed if that's your thing. Like BDSM,
exactly.
BDSM as it was intended to be, right? Not what the fuck he's doing. Yeah. So our next talking head / survivor is called Julie Morrison. She's an artist and writer based in New York and LA, and they're so far apart. I'm like, how can you be based in both?
We're using the word survivor loosely.
Yeah, well, to be honest.
And you know, I don't like people that project their like, I don't like people that insert themselves into trauma. Like,
because do you know, by the end of this, I was like, she didn't really need to be here.
Yeah,
and it's
I was waiting
about
for
her
the climax with her, and there was none, and I was just like, there was no need for sis. Maybe they just couldn't get enough survivors.
They couldn't, because people. I've got the screenshots. I'm going to read them when we get to that point. But yeah, they I reckon that's probably it. So we learn that Army Hammer follows her and messages her in 2017, and she makes a point to let us know that she didn't see it until 2020. And so I mean, I guess it's relevant because, you know, that's when she saw it and that's when she replied. But I think she enjoyed the fact that it was like, oh, I was airing you for 3 years, I didn't even know it. Yeah. So he wants to buy. It's like
when who's the celeb that aired someone for ages?
Oh, was it T-Pain? I feel like T-Pain was involved.
No. It was Naomi Campbell. And I think it was Janet Jackson that said something to her like, oh, I can't remember what it was. Then she was like, oh my gosh, I'm only just seeing this now. And it was like 4 years.
I'm not thinking
I can't remember who it was. It was on Twitter.
I'm not thinking of that. There was a T-Pain one though, where it was like, and he was going on about, now I need to start checking my DMs because someone had messaged him years ago trying to work with him. Mate, I don't blame them, because you know how it has the requested bit in the other side. Yeah.
As a celeb, that place is going to be like
exactly
full of
riddled with craziness.
DM requests are just full of like cocks. Like I avoid it at all costs.
Wow, what kind of crowd are you attracting,
bro?
So he, as in Army, wants to buy some of her art, and she describes her art as being provocative photos, and then the captions kind of make you think. And there's a picture of her being choked, and that's the picture that he wants, right? So she says they start seeing each other just before lockdown, and then their convo start to get a bit sexual. I don't think they ever met up, and I think she confirms this in the last episode. But yeah, as always, men turning things sexual, it becomes sexual.
Literally, it's like guys will be saying, "Oh, truth or dare," and they say truth. Say, what color are your nipples? That's the energy, cock in hand energy.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Literally. That's like what you said in the jury duty episode. That episode is wild, guys. If after this, like, listen to that episode.
Listen to that episode, yeah.
It's crazy and it's true, which makes it even more crazy.
Yeah.
So we see a screenshot of a message that he sent to her saying, he has a fantasy about having someone prove their love and devotion, tying them up in a public place at night and making their body free use, and seeing if they will fuck strangers for him.
I have a fantasy of winning a lot of money in the lottery and being financially free.
And that's a normal fantasy. Or I have a fantasy where I dress up as a nurse, or you dress up as a patient, or I have a fantasy where I'm the fireman or whatever. These are normal fantasies, yeah. Even if I have a fantasy where I'm getting whipped.
Fam, or we go to a hotel and I'm Clive and you're Juliana.
Fam, literally, Clive, Juliana, and we meet at the bar.
Modern Family.
What about it?
Do you watch Modern Family?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We meet at the bar every Valentine's Day, and I'm Clyde, you're Juliana.
And then my dress gets stuck in the
elevator, and I'm
then
naked.
My dad has to like come and rip the dress out. Like,
right,
normal fantasies.
Right, like maybe that's the fantasy. Nothing's wrong with that. But basically saying like, I want you to be raped multiple times for me.
That is
just insane.
A sickness.
And it's one thing to think this and know, okay, I'm depraved, I need help, I would never tell anybody this. And another thing to just freely be telling strangers on the internet.
Fam. But it's that thing of, he knows he's a celeb, and a lot of these women feel, I don't know, like they're lesser than him. Yeah.
And so for him, I think it's also more than the celebrity of it, because he's actually very rich, and he comes from a family where money has been able to afford them the ability to do what they want.
Yeah.
So it's just the worst combination of the two.
Yeah.
So he starts telling her about shibari and kinaku, so basically like rope tying stuff. And the whole essence of his vibe, like what he wants is for her to be a sex slave. So he says things like he wants her to be a good little pet and just weird things. And so Julie she likes some of the messages, like on, when you like a message on Instagram by double tapping, yeah. And she's like, it's not a cosign, it's kind of just like, I don't know, like she doesn't think it's that deep, and she's just like, oh, hello, whatever.
It's
like
acknowledgement.
Yeah, like acknowledging that she's seen it, which I get it, because we do that all the time on Instagram. We just double tap, yeah, I've seen your message. Doesn't mean I love what you said. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think that Julie really deep that this is actually mad deep. Like I think she just thought, okay, like it's a bit of a flirt, it's a bit of a kink, whatever.
Yeah,
we're just flirting. Because I reckon if she deeps like how mad it was, or when she started to connect the dots, that's when she distanced away and they never actually ever met up.
Yeah.
So Julie Googles and she sees that he's married, and she's like, yeah, if he's chatting to me like this, then he's definitely chatting to other people, because this is not the moves of someone who is
smart girl.
Yeah, very smart. So now we're in July 2020 and we're back with Courtney. So she tells us the story about how she's like gone away with her girls. She's chilling in the Hamptons, and Army's like, oh, he's on a road trip. He's like, oh, I'm going to be in Texas. Like, we should meet up. And she's like, yeah, no, we can't. I'm away. I'm in the Hamptons. And then he messages her a picture of the building that she lives in. And he's like, yeah, he's trying to find her scent. And she's
if
like,
he wasn't good looking and rich, she would have called the police.
Yeah. And tall. Because she says tall like loads of times. And I'm there right with you, sis.
Yeah.
But
that height will have you doing all sorts.
And that's another thing, that is another privilege of him being like white, tall, like conventionally attractive. Because if that was a creepy old man, you would have been like, what the fuck?
It's the Ted Bundy effect. Even though I don't think Ted Bundy was good looking.
I don't think he was good looking either.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit.
Standards are weird, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, she's a bit confused. She's like, are we flirting? Are we being funny? Is it banter? Like, she doesn't really know how to, what to do with this information. So when she gets back home, he's left her a note. And she thought it'd be a cute little note that says, oh, hey, I was here,
miss
whatever.
you, wanna kiss you.
Yeah, miss you, wanna kiss you. Miss you, wanna kiss you. What was his name? Devon. Huh?
What? Devon?
Devon, that was her boyfriend that made the card.
What, Raven?
Yeah.
Oh.
She made the card for Devon. And it was her head. And it was like, miss you.
There was another thing on The Office where they said that, but I can't remember when.
Oh. So the note actually says,
I get back from New York and he left me this note. Oh, this would be a cute note. So I open the envelope and it just says, I'm going to bite the fuck out of you.
And
how you could think that's cute, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, why would he think that was a cute thing to leave, right?
No, but she also was like, oh, okay. But like, for me, I'd read that as, this guy's batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I want to bite not even, oh, I want to bite you. Like,
or nibble.
Okay, nibble. Like, I want to bite that is weird as fuck.
But the thing is, she inherently knows that it's weird, because she does that thing where it's like, you don't tell your friends. Like, she misses out that part of the story when she's talking to her friends. And it's like, that we've all done
something
it. Like,
ain't right.
Because you don't want someone with sense to come and say to you, like, to co-sign you knowing that this is the wrong person for you. And if she had told her friends, they would have been like, the fuck? That's weird. Get out there. So now it's 6 days later, and Army and his wife split up. It comes across as being amicable, but okay. So now that he's officially split up with his wife, he and Courtney go on an adventure to a desert. And I'm telling you, red flag right there, because
I told you it's the Ted Bundy effect. Because if you met a guy on Tinder who you'd never met in person and you guys were chatting, you wouldn't go to the desert with him for a break. Not.
But then because he's famous, it's almost like, oh, he has things to lose. Like, if he killed me, like, surely, like, people would know. Do you know what I mean? Like, he has more to lose.
Yeah.
So she's kind of scared because, like Foren said, this is the first time they've met. It's August 2020. She's like, when they meet, it feels natural. Like, they hug, they kiss, and then off they go to the desert. Again, the desert. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's because I live in London and there's no desert here.
It's not just you, hon.
It's like going to the forest. Would you do that? Absolutely not.
Or going, no.
Leave nature alone.
Literally, leave all these people that take you to nature places. They want to kill you. That's inherently what they want to do.
It's like a wild crime. Like, they want to kill you.
Literally, anybody that suggests any sort of nature kind of date early on is a murderer.
Yeah,
I'm willing to like take it to the bank that I said this. Anybody that early on suggests any sort of nature date is a serial killer.
Yep.
Or is a budding serial killer.
Yep.
Sometimes even after a long time, they're still like,
mate. Because Wild Crime, they'd been together for years and he was just plotting it.
What's Wild Crime?
Wild Crime's a documentary on Disney Plus about this guy who kills his wife.
Watch that. I need to watch that.
Yeah, it's really good. 3 parts.
Oh, I'll be watching that today.
Yes. So Courtney describes how affectionate Army is. He's always touching her, pulling her closer. She's really falling for him and she's really happy, right? And she does admit, though, that there are some times where things just don't feel right. So one time they go to a shop and he goes to the rope section and they're out of rope. And so Courtney's kind of relieved, like, oh, thank God, like, there's no rope because, you know, what would have happened, yeah?
Yeah.
And then Army kind of senses that she's not comfortable with the whole restraint and rope thing. And then he makes her watch this movie, The Secretary. And he
I've
says
watched that movie before.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Would you recommend?
It's good. Yeah.
He says it's one of his favourite movies, and it's about a man who makes his secretary submissive. Like, in the scenes that we see, I've not seen it, maybe Florence can weigh in a bit more, but she's acting as a desk, she's crawling around. Basically, anything that he wants her to do, she does.
Yeah. It's like 50 Shades of Grey, but on crack, and better acting.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah.
So Courtney starts the clock. Okay.
I think it has the guy, if I'm correct, the same guy from The Office, the one that
I thought it was him, but he was really young then. He's also in what's that thing that I'm watching? Boston Legal. The guy, he's weird. He always plays the same weird guy.
Yeah, he always has this erratic behavior.
The way he speaks. Yeah. He's the same in Boston Legal. He's exactly the same.
Really?
James Spade.
No, James Spade would be that short guy.
Oh, have I done it again?
You've done it again. James Spade is that short guy that's
it's Spader. Yeah, it's him, James Spader.
Okay. But there's James Spade as well. Google James Spade.
Who's James Spade? Hold on, let me Google him. James Spade?
Nothing's coming up.
Nah, B. Only Spader. Who's James Spade?
There's is it Kevin Spade?
Oh, he's the one in the American, what's it called? Oh, Kevin Spade. Oh, no, David Spade. He's got like long blonde hair.
Yeah,
not long,
short,
but like
mad short, and he always plays like the
weird guy.
Not like the.
He was
the
in
schmuck.
He was in 8 Simple Rules.
Yes. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, I googled him, and there's a fucking picture of him side by side with what's the Carol Baskin guy? What's his name?
Oh, the Tiger guy, Tiger King. Yeah. Oh, what's his name?
He should play the Tiger King though.
Wait, let me check what his name is. It's gonna piss me off. Tiger King. Joe Exotic. Yeah. Sorry to you guys who were screaming that at me.
8 Simple Rules. Is that the
one?
Yeah,
he was the uncle in 8 Simple Rules. The one that, you know, the girl from Big Bang Theory, Penny. Mm-hmm. She was in 8 Simple Rules, and then she had the sister Carrie with the auntie with the frizzy hair.
Okay, this is not the same movie. I'm sure
it's not a movie. It's a TV show.
Yeah, but I've watched it before. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you have.
Good times.
Was he in that? Did I make that up? Oh yeah, he is in it. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Whew,
There's another show I used to watch on Trouble. I can't remember it, but it was like a family show. The daughter was a bit older, and I'll think about it.
Are they white or black?
White. I don't think it was Trouble then if they were white.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Where are we now? Yeah, so what's her name? So yeah, Courtney starts the clock that this is kind of what he wants from her, and it's almost like him doing, like, I don't know, like grooming. Maybe that's the word I'm thinking of. It's like grooming. It's like showing you this movie, trying to like kind of get your defenses down because he knows she feels uncomfortable with it. It's like if you watch something enough times, if you're submersed in something enough, like it's going to become less weird.
But she never really went into detail about how she like found out that he was into that. Do you understand what I mean?
No, because he was talking about the ropes and stuff. He would always bring it up.
Oh, okay.
And then he like showed her the video, and she was like, oh, "Okay, cool." So like, what I thought was actually what he wanted.
The show was Grounded for Life.
Oh.
Did you ever watch that?
No. I think maybe I would see it on the, on the Sky TV guide.
Yeah.
And then I'll wait half an hour for my wife and kids.
And As Told by Ginger. My dad used to watch As Told by Ginger. But it was an adult cartoon. I don't know why it was on Nickelodeon in the daytime.
Yeah, it's actually very deep themes.
It was very deep. She was dating like a black guy at a point, wasn't she?
What?
She was dating a black guy at a point in that show.
Oh, I don't remember all that.
Okay.
So
what the fuck do you remember? Like,
wait, barely a thing.
I'm happy that I remember this shit, and it's college. I forgot. Like,
that's why. Do you know what it is? I'm always like, my sister can't die before me because she is whenever I forget something, like she is the person who's like, no, it happened
write
like
down
this,
your
or,
history.
No, this happened. I'm terrible. I remember the most random things that don't even matter.
But how do you remember college then? And I don't.
I don't know. I was very present there. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you thought
but
you were above it.
I was very present in college.
I don't know. Speak to yourself.
No, but was I not there? I was
you were very much there. You were right there in the middle of social area, terrorizing folk.
Okay, so how I forgot all of it? I don't know what happened.
I don't know. But I don't know. The crazies. They just go about and do their thing. They don't actually remember the damage that they've caused.
That's true. Fucking probably left people with all sorts of issues, and I don't remember shit.
Lord Jesus, if you've been affected by foreigners.
If you've been victimized by Regina George.
So Courtney tells us about this horrible time that she had with Army, and she doesn't actually tell us what happened, and the producers don't push her to, which I think was good, because it's like, okay, you could tell she was very much out of her comfort zone here. Yeah. But from what she said, it seems as though they were in like an intimate situation. He did something that she wasn't comfortable with, and like he didn't stop, even though he could.
And she found it degrading.
Yeah, she found it degrading, humiliating.
I think he peed on her.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think the way she said it must have been a lot. I think it was probably more than one thing. Like, I think it was just a multitude of sins. She's like, yeah, it's the kind of thing you discussed before. She basically says, like, it's the kind of thing that you would have had a discussion before. Like, oh, are you okay with this? Or are you okay with that? And that never happened, and he did whatever he did.
Anal. Jesus.
I don't know. But yeah, so after that, she goes home, and she feels like something is off with him. But then also at the same time, she's like, you know, he's really nice and makes her feel special. Like, he gives her PDA, quality time, affection.
But how you can
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like,
how nice could you be to counteract the shit that you've done?
That? Exactly.
It's crazy.
That was a major red flag.
But then remember, before she had been in an abusive relationship, so it's almost as if like, this good that I'm getting, I've never gotten before, and that you're giving me this, and like, when it's good, it's so good, but when it's bad, it's really bad. And I think that's why it's very difficult for people to leave these situations, because it could all be so good, because when it's good, it's really, really good, and then that's what your memory hangs on. Do you know what I mean? You don't think about the bad stuff until it's happening again. So yeah, he also has this thing where he doesn't want her dating, but he's dating, and obviously he's famous, so obviously it's public knowledge that he's dating, and we're seeing paparazzi pics of him arm in arm with like different women and stuff, but he's gonna come home and say, yeah, no, you can't date anyone.
Crazy.
Very crazy. So she's like, yeah, she's gonna end it with him, and to her credit, she does, right? Until she goes for a walk with her girls, and he finds her location, and then they get back together. And to her,
said he stalked her.
Right. To her, and we found out this is hereditary. So to her, yeah. To her, it comes across as romantic. To us, it's like, bro, this man is a stalker. Like, it's not some grand gesture. Like, it's actually very scary. Why do you know where I am? And why do you feel entitled to come and, like...
Find me.
Come and find me. Like, very strange. So they go on a road trip together, and on their way, she sees a bag with ropes in it. So, I mean... in the car, the bag is there the whole time. It didn't just appear, And during the course of their trip, she clocks that there's ropes in this bag. So they get to the hotel, they have dinner. Then he brings up the bags with the ropes and says that he's only tried it on mannequins before. And I'm just like, bro.
And let's leave it at that.
Like, why do you have This is like, who's that one that had Jeffrey Dahmer that had a mannequin in his grandma's house? Remember he went to steal the mannequin from the shop. It's not normal to have a mannequin in your home. Like, if you're in a shop, yeah, cool, great, mannequins should be there. Okay, obviously, if you're like a seamstress, fine, you have like body forms or whatever. Yeah. But like
just a mannequin, normal person.
It's so strange. So Courtney is not comfortable with this, and he is visibly mad about the fact that she's not comfortable, and he's drunk. She's not drunk, right? And I also think that's a major sign that she knows that she's not safe with this guy, because when you're on a date with someone, or when you're around someone that you don't feel comfortable with, like, you're not really drinking like that, or you're drinking a lot to kind of mask not feeling comfortable. But it just seems like she just wasn't comfortable. And so she says to us that she said everything except for no. And I don't like this implication, because it's like, you shouldn't have to say, like, no. Yes means yes as much as no means no. Do you know what I mean? If it's not a yes, then it's a no, as opposed to if it's not a no, then it's a yes.
Of non-consent.
Exactly.
Like, we don't need, and it's unfortunate that women feel like, I guess, bad that like they have to whatever. There are other indicators of non-consent, like if my body is tense, if I'm like not really responding, if I'm saying I don't feel up to it,
you're not sure, hesitation.
Like, if I don't use the words no, you can still gauge.
Exactly. Like, you should really be hearing yes. Then you know, okay, we're good to go. Like, if you don't hear yes, like, or if you don't see signs that imply yes, such as you know, her being on it. Yeah, exactly. Then it's
even
like
body chemistry isn't a good one, because like the natural response for a lot of rape victims say, oh, like, but I orgasmed, so maybe it wasn't rape. But no, it was still rape, because your
but I mean,
body
that someone being
naturally...
onto you, someone like touching you, someone smiling, giggling, moaning, like those are signs that you're like, hey, yeah, cool, we're on it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And always checking in, like just check in.
On it, like Wallace and Gromit. Did you watch that TikTok I posted?
Yeah, I did.
I shared it with my mum was literally crying and laughing.
Yeah, so he's fucked. So at this point, Courtney has to take a break from filming because she's really going through it. Like, even here today, as she's telling us, it's almost as if like she's reliving it in the moment, which is what one of the other victims was saying. Like, it re-traumatizes you, which is why she didn't want to take part in it. So 2 days after she meets his mum. So let's go back. 3 days after this rape situation, she meets his mum.
But you didn't even say he ties her up and he basically rapes her.
That's what it seems like, yeah.
Yeah, basically that's what he does for that night.
Yeah, because he didn't consent.
Yeah.
Yeah, to any of it. Didn't consent to the rope tying, didn't consent to the sex. So 3 days after this, she meets his mum, and 2 days after that, they break up. So it's like, why am I meeting your mum? Like, if it was me, it's like, I'd actually want to meet your mum for what? Like, to come and audition to some woman that is not going to be my mother-in-law.
But also, can I just say, like, women, this also is a sign that it doesn't matter how many times he takes you to meet his mum. Like,
fam, she's just a woman that he knows.
Do you know that I'm going to be that mum that's like, listen, don't bring any girl into my home unless that's your wife. I'm actually going to be that way, because I feel like a lot of men, like, they gaslight women. I don't know if that's the right word I'm using, but like, they give them false indicators of seriousness by like all this stuff about, coming home to meet the mom. My mum talks about
but that's also us putting 20 on 10 thinking, oh my god, he let me meet his mum. Because it's almost like, if I feel like I'm not letting anyone meet my mum, there's some guys just like, everyone meets their mum. I feel like sometimes it's even a good thing, because it's like, mum can weed out real early. You know, sometimes, you know how we were having that conversation, or maybe it wasn't us, maybe it was Twitter, about like introducing your partner to friends early, rather than sort of keeping them and then falling in love with them, and then your friend meets them and it's like, oh, this nigga's fucked, kind of thing. Weird, so as a mum, it's like, if you're bringing me around, if you're bringing your girls around me, like, doesn't necessarily mean that's your wife, but like, maybe I can have a look and be like, oh yeah, she's great for you. Do you know what I mean?
But I think, so when I say don't bring girls around me, it's not like, oh, girls can't come to the home, but there's a difference. Like, you coming and formally introducing someone to me, like,
as your girlfriend.
Then but like, I'm saying, like, don't come every, like, Sarah Jane and just but like, she can come to the house, you can meet her, like, I'll just I'll just mentally be like, okay, I know that's his little girlfriend, do you know what I mean? But the proper, like, that's his meeting friend. You're
not a girlfriend for ages.
I
met my boyfriend's parents, it was like, I'm his friend.
That's a friend. That's a friend. That proper meeting, that sit down, dinner, conversation, save that shit for your wife. You're not going to use me to validate like your nonsense. Like,
and I feel like if I had a son, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm on the girls, so I'm trying to make sure the girl is okay. Like, bro, I'm not trying to co-sign your bullshit.
I literally saw some TikTok where the guy was like, when you go to your mom's house after you have a fight with your wife, and then he opened the door, and then it was a meme of Vin Diesel and Paul Walker looking, and it was like mum and wife. That's the kind of mum I'm gonna be.
Exactly.
Like, literally, your wife will call me and tell me about your shit, and I'm not taking your side.
Exactly.
Because I know how niggas are.
I'm not just gonna be on his side because he's my son. Like, if he's wrong, and he likely is because he's a man, then I'm gonna tell him.
Shaking right now because Igbo mums and their sons, their son can do no wrong. Igbo mums are shaking. I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be that kind of mum.
Amen.
I think if my mum had a son as well, she wouldn't be that way though. Like, she doesn't give me that kind of energy, like pandering to.
Yeah, but you're not a woman. You're not a boy though. It could be all different if she had a son. All of a sudden, she's lost her head.
I guess that's true.
Man.
I'm sorry, but have you seen that other TikTok where the woman is sitting there and like, it's like mother-in-law, like, and she's repeating the stuff the daughter-in-law is saying to her, and she's like, you're telling me that he cheats on you? I don't know where he got it from. Could it be how his father was philandering up and down and I still stayed with him? I'll send you a TikTok. We'll post it.
Yeah, we'll post it. Yeah, so what were you even saying? That the way that we go off track is just so amazing to me. Every episode without fail. without fail. So she met the mom. That's how we got there. Yeah, got it. Okay, cool. So now it's January 2021 and we're near Washington DC and we meet Candice Cronkite, and she tells us that Put some respect on Candace's name. Why are you laughing?
I'm so sorry.
Why are you laughing? So she tells us that one of Army's ex-girlfriends posted screenshots of DMs from him. And okay, yeah, so this is the bit. So the account was House of Effie, right? And they talk about it during the documentary, but someone on TikTok actually told us that this person, she didn't agree to be in the documentary. They didn't want them using her information and all that stuff, which I think is fair enough. Like, it's your story. You can decide whether you want.
But I guess they used what she shared on social media anyway.
Exactly, which is why it's a dangerous thing, because it's kind of like you not wanting to be on the documentary is one thing. Like, they can't force you to be on it, yeah. But
you shared this.
Everything
stuff
on the internet is fair game, which is annoying. But yeah, so on her post on Instagram, she says, so the caption is why rape victims of celebrities don't speak out. And she says, because we don't want thousands upon thousands of people to call us liars, whores, sluts, trash when we open up about our deepest trauma. Because we don't want fans of our rapists to harass our families and friends. Because we don't want our rapist fans telling us they track down where we live and threatening to throw acid in our face. Because we don't want fans of our abuser incessantly telling us to end our lives. Because we don't want to get raped and death threats from fans of our rapists. Because we don't want to live in constant fear that someone will physically harm us. Because we don't want to be incessantly blamed and shamed for having been raped, because we don't want anyone to know that we were violated, humiliated, dehumanized, only to be further violated, humiliated and dehumanized. Which
it's crazy.
I
said it's crazy.
Yeah, which is what it's like. Reminds me of the whole like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation, and it's like fans of Johnny Depp were just like going like it becomes more about the it's like more about the character of the person as opposed to it being an actual person doing things.
Yeah. What did you think though?
What?
About the two of them?
I didn't follow it like that. I think from what I could see, like, they were abusing each other.
This is what I said. I said, these are two mad people that jammed each other and we're seeing the fallout. Neither is guilty, neither is innocent. Like,
I didn't follow the case.
They just seem like two crazies. Like, I don't understand why people are acting like, oh, this is a victim. I was like, Amber is not innocent. Johnny is not innocent.
Everyone's a victim and everyone's a perpetrator.
Literally, they're two mad people. They actually, in some ways, suit each other. Like, because they are two
yoked.
Crazies that, equally yoked.
Yeah, honestly, like, I was like, yeah, you know, for me, when it comes to the internet, sometimes you have to just bury your head in the sand and live in ignorance, because I was just like, yep, I don't have the time.
I didn't follow it, but yeah.
I ain't got time. So when there's another screenshot basically of, I screenshot it, but it's on her Instagram. So she showed what she responded to the producers when they first reached out, and she was like, there's some bits that are like redacted, but you can kind of guess what she's saying. So she goes, this is not a chapter. So I assume that they were like, oh, you know, we want to kind of go through this chapter of the House of Hammer kind of thing. Yeah. And she was like, it's not a chapter, it's our lives and our trauma. It's extremely inappropriate to profit off of such a tragic, vulnerable time in so many people's lives with no regard whatsoever for our healing process and privacy. You would only be perpetuating our trauma. A docuseries would only feed these narcissist egos and, worst of all, further create endless triggers for years to come for all of the victims, many of whom are redacted, so I presume suicidal, as is. It is the last thing we as victims want, and you should respect that and reconsider. That was April the 30th, 2021, and I think they were filming this like come November from some of the posts later on in the documentary. But yeah, like, I get it. I get where she's coming from in terms of like, yeah, this is like to what end kind of thing, especially the way that this documentary was done in terms of like, it's literally about his family with a, like, opens up with him being a rapist, ends a little bit with him being a rapist. Nothing's been done, nothing's been said, like there's been no justice, and then it's all in the middle mostly about the fact that his family are fucked.
But I mean, obviously I can't say that I feel differently in the sense that it's not my place
your
to have
trauma,
it's not my trauma, so I can't tell her how she should feel or the thoughts she should have. And obviously because Discovery is releasing the documentary, they will profit over it, but or profit from it, but I don't agree that it's just feeding into her egos, because if I'm being genuinely honest, I only knew about this because I saw someone on TikTok talk about this documentary coming out, and then I vaguely recognized him and I was like, oh, like he's a celeb, it'll be good to cover this. But in terms of I don't know where I was. Maybe I just don't think I have
when it all happened. I remember my sister saying something to me about it, but like even then, again, head in the sand, like I just was like, okay, the white man doing some dumb shit.
I was actively on Twitter then, I didn't see any of this stuff, so I think
side of the internet.
And also I think a lot of times, like if we think about the whole Free Britney movement, it started from people on social media talking about some of this stuff. She had been trying to get
out of the conservatorship for
ages, and then people were talking about it, and then it's like suddenly, because in all honesty, in this day and age, the court of social opinion, is that what it's called? The
court of public opinion.
Public opinion. The court of public opinion is a lot more valid, as far as I'm concerned, especially in Hollywood, quote unquote, than like any actual court. Like if you're like, okay, Arnie nothing has happened to him in terms of, spoiler alert, nothing's happened to him legally, but he's never working again, like in Hollywood. It's the same with like a lot of these other guys that have had the Me Too movement and things like that. They're not working again. Like they're gonna have to live off of whatever they've earned. They've been tarnished. Like R. Kelly is in so much debt. It's better for him to die in that prison because he can't afford to breathe outside of prison. Be out of here. Literally. So I think it's good that stuff like this happens, and it's good that we know the depths of the depravity and things like that.
I think it's like I say, like you said, to be honest, in the beginning, it's like it's easy for us to have these opinions because it's not our trauma. It's not me seeing the man who raped me like out there doing his thing or whatever. I think also putting it out there is good because it warns other women that this is what he's about. But I do also think that going to jail is very necessary in times like this.
Like, of course.
Almost even just like teaching you like, all your money and your power does not like preclude you from being arrested or being put in jail, and like that's just how it is right now. So I see both sides, but I do think that like I get it. If you don't want to be a part of it, completely understand. But then on the other hand, those victims that did want, like for example Courtney, that did want to be a part of it and thought, you know what, I'm gonna tell my story because I need people to learn from this. Yeah,
exactly. Because also, like I think I said this before, celebrities are a lot more accessible in America, especially in California. Like I didn't realize, like, they see them all the time. They interact with them and stuff like that. So for every like for every one army, there are like millions of Courtneys who have dated some of these men who are abusive and whatever, but they got caught up in the whirlwind of dating like a celebrity, and from there, like their stories, they're just pushed, because like Courtney was saying that like people calling her all types of whatever. So these stories are important, but I agree, like if you don't want to be part of it, I understand, but I think it's a good thing this documentary came out, and I also do think it's good that they spoke a lot about his family as well, because you wouldn't have known, especially like his dad isn't like a celeb. They're all fucked. They're all fucked. They were. But what more do you expect? It's like fucked. If you watch Arrested Development, all these Succession type families, they're all fucked. Crazy.
So we see some of the messages that he sent to, I think, Effie, and they go from like kinky, which if you have a kink, you have a kink. Do you know what I mean? Like no one's out here trying to shame you for your kink, but they go from kinky to dark to very, very dark. And then the worst of it is like he's basically getting off on acting out a rape, i.e. raping someone. Like it's really sick. So it's Candice,
fucking sick.
Candice, who I think she's a journalist, she does a story on it, and of course people don't take it seriously. They don't believe the victims. They blame the victims. They say the DMs are fake. And Courtney is like, I know that these DMs that have leaked are real, because literally the way he speaks, the way he operated, everything he says is how he spoke to me. How he spoke to me. And so she's kind of like, look, House of Effie is getting like slated, and I want to kind of stand up for her and be like, no, I know this is true because this is what's happened. So she speaks to his other Instagram account and says, yeah, look, fuck it, like I don't care anymore. Like you can say my name. I'm telling you it's true. He spoke to me the same way. And then her life blows up. Her name is everywhere, and then like the trolls start coming out for her. And again, this is why people don't say anything, because like why would you, like, I'm not even gonna lie, like if it were me, I reckon I would just go to therapy and get on with my life and be like, well, do you know what I mean?
There it is.
Because it's like you're being re-victimized for trying to do the right thing, because people are just so fucked out there. So we see this message where Army talks about eating flesh. He says he ate, I don't know if this is true, I'm really hoping it's a lie, but if it's a lie, it's like, why is this a lie that came to your mind? So either way, it's fucked. So he was like, he ate the heart of a deer. Like he killed it, he took it out and he bit it raw.
But I was having this conversation with my sister-in-law, and we were talking about rich people and why so many of them are so fucked. And we were just saying that I think something happens when you have like an obscene amount of money. It's like,
and power.
You can buy power. You can buy everything. So why not start to seek out the things that are
like push the limit? Yeah,
like if I could buy every house I wanted, an island, fucking hell, like all the cars I wanted, all the bags I wanted, then obviously the next step is to start doing some fucked up shit, because I can. Like, there's nothing else
and
to
I'm
obtain.
bored. Like, what else is there? I can't just
like
go
now,
to the cinema or go on holiday. Oh God, I've done that enough times.
Literally, now I can look on Rightmove and lust after a like £2 million house, or I can lust after like a brand new Range Rover or something like that. But like, once you have all those things at the tip of your fingers, why the fuck wouldn't you start doing some shit that's like, so I don't know, man, it's fucked up. It's fucked up.
Yeah, he's fucked up. More women come out and they verify, yeah, he's fucked up. Like, he's weird, he's dangerous, he's scary, yeah. And then his ex, Paige Lorenz, makes a really good point.
I think he used BDSM as like a smokescreen, ultimately, to hurt women and inflict pain on women, which is the scariest part.
And I agree, because like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, I know everything there is to know about BDSM, yeah, but like, he's conflating BDSM with cannibalism and stuff like this is dangerous, because if you're part of the BDSM community, you're all consenting adults, you have safe words, you have boundaries, and that's all respected, right? Because then it doesn't get to this level, and you blaming it on BDSM is trying to take the blame away from you just being depraved. It's got nothing to do with BDSM. It's not BDSM. Yeah,
it's just you
and your weird proclivities.
Yeah.
So Army gets dropped from everything. What got me was he got dropped from this movie that he was supposed to do with J-Lo, and then he tries to spin it and be like, oh yeah, I can't leave my kids for 4 months to go and film abroad. And it's like, bro, like, no one cares about you or your kids. Like, you got dropped.
And that movie that he got dropped from was shit. So it would have been another flop for him. I'm not saying good thing that he got. I'm not saying good thing for him. It's good they dropped him, but the movie was shit.
But either way, maybe it would have been shit if he was in it, because clearly his track record is not great.
No.
So we get more about the fact that Army was basically abusing women and not doing BDSM, because as I said before, it's so funny because I wrote those notes and then they said it and I was like, great, everyone has sense. They were like, you know, if there's no consent, if there's no safety, if there's no boundaries, it's not BDSM. And there were none of those things with him. So we see Effie's attorney, Gloria Allred, and she's talking about representing. Do you know that she's Lisa Bloom's mum?
Lisa Bloom, yes, I know.
The one that represented Black China.
Yes, I know that.
I literally was like, I went to Google her because I was like, oh, let me just Google her, and then I saw Lisa Bloom. I was like, rah, mad.
I remember Google searching that.
Like mother, like daughter. Yeah. So next,
it's given what's that? Oh, you don't watch it. The Split.
Split.
The Split. It's a BBC drama. You should watch it. I recommended it to Nicole. I don't think she ever watched it. It's really good. It's about like this family of women, and they're all divorce lawyers, and it just like each series addresses a different like part of their story. It's really, really good.
Okay, how many seasons are there?
There are only 3, and I think each season has, is it 6 or 8 episodes?
Oh
like
yeah,
British.
Or maybe I'll watch it today.
It has the woman from Unforgotten. Have you watched that?
I feel
the
like
one where they find prehistoric bones, not prehistoric, but old bone. Yeah, mate, you know me. I'm always watching a British crime drama. Like, it's really good.
So next we see a video of Effie's testimony, which is really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
To watch. For 2 reasons. 1, because of what it is she's actually saying, and 2, because how it's visibly affecting her. And then 3 also because knowing that like she didn't want to be included in this documentary at all. It's just kind of like, ugh. Like,
and 4, because Julia comes and says this could have been me, and I'm like, can you fuck off?
This is not about you.
She gives me energy of, what's that guy, that documentary that we did last time, the most hated man on the internet.
Oh yeah,
his girlfriend.
Oh yeah, what's her name? Kika.
Yeah, same energy.
Yeah, it's true. It's actually so true. It's like you could tell that they couldn't really get people who wanted to speak to them. Like, oh, you've messaged him one time. Yeah, great, come along, literally. Yeah, so the video is really sad, and it's just I'm not really gonna go through it. It was actually very wild. Like I was just like, this. So after Effie comes forward, the LAPD begin to investigate. Did they investigate? They investigate Armie Hammer, and the lawyer that he has is known for defending men guilty of sexual abuse. So I'm not saying 1 + 1 is 2, but definitely not 4. Ultimately, this whole thing comes down to consent. So BDSM or no BDSM, consent is necessary. Consent is sexy. Shout out to Aloni. Yeah. And this is what makes it a crime. Like, if you don't give consent, or if you withdraw consent during sex, then it's rape. And rape is against the law. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Gloria Allred is kind of like being kinky, kinks, all that stuff isn't against the law, but rape is. and rape occurs without consent. So really, this whole documentary could be underscored with consent. If they just had some grasp on consent, everything would be fine. Because there are probably women out there who want...
But they don't want that.
Exactly.
I know what you're going to say. They don't want it. That is the thing. They want a woman that doesn't want it. Because if I want to be like degraded and I want you to fuck me when I'm... You're not going to get the same thrill. The thrill comes from knowing you have power over this person because they don't want to do this. But
and
you're
that's
able
what makes
to...
it fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's like when guys are like, oh, why all women want to do is shake their ass and go to brunch. Okay, so there are women who don't like to do that. So then go and find one of them.
There are women that pray every day and wear
twice a day.
Why? But you don't want that.
You don't want that.
You
That's
want to
really
humble. Exactly. What you want is to humble. What they call humble.
You want to humble a bad bitch.
That's what they want. Oh, it's just like when men say, "Oh, I love opinionated women," and then when they start dating one, all they want to do is shut you up. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
I remember dating a guy and he was like to me, and he's quite a popular guy actually on social media, and he was like to me, oh, like, I don't know how serious this could be because you're really like out there, like with your media thing. I can see you blowing, and then, you know, I don't want to be like living in your shadow. And I was just thinking to myself, you met me and you saw all the stuff I was doing on social media.
This is what you liked.
This is what you liked.
Still approach me.
But now you're saying to me, if we were together, you need to tone it down. Like, and yeah. A lot of people ask me how I knew my partner was the one. That was one of the things. Like, he's always encouraging
your
me.
Biggest
like,
cheerleader.
Biggest cheerleader.
After
like,
me.
you should do this. You should do that. After you. You should do this. You should do that. You should do the third.
So next we meet Lauren Skay. I don't know if that's a typo, if that's actually what her name was. That was her at. So she gets told about the history of the Hammer family. And so Casey Hammer is his auntie, his aunt, they say, who writes a book about the family. Everyone's crazy. And basically, as we've, alluded to, it's just wealthy, privileged men being able to do what they want, when they want, and get away with it for literally generations. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now Lauren is like, do you know what? Actually, I feel the need to tell everyone about this. Yeah. Which I kind of get. It's like, I get it. I get doing that. But again, when the documentary, maybe I was of the wrong opinion. I thought this documentary is going to be about Armie Hammer. We're going to get him and blah, 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 blah. So all of this detracts from that a little bit because it's very sensational. Like all the things that we learn, it's just like, whoa. But yeah, so Lauren posts on TikTok basically saying what she's heard from the aunt's book. She thinks she listens to it as an audio book, and like every chapter that she does, she makes a TikTok and it goes viral, like not TikTok viral, like viral, like millions and millions. Yeah. So the aunt, Casey Hammer, she is loving it. And at this point, I'm kind of looking at Casey sideways because it's just kind of like, I don't know, she's like, oh yeah, everyone check out Lauren's post. And then in her caption, she's like, oh, this would make such a good movie. And it just seems like, I don't know, it's like she's been cut off and she's like, yeah, this is going to be a great way for me to like recoup.
Make money.
Yeah. And it doesn't seem like, oh, this is genuinely bad and I want everyone to know how fucked everything is. It was like, oh, this is going to be a good paycheck on top of everything else, which fair enough, like make your money, sis. It's your family you're exploiting. But I don't know, it was just weird.
Yeah, but I think she's been cut off and she needs that check.
Yeah, my next line, Casey has been extricated from the family, it seems. so she basically tells us everyone's fucked. And she is the woman in the trailer where she's like, oh, I'm Casey Hammer and I'm going to reveal the dark, twisted secrets of the Hammer family. And that's the end of episode 1.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. We didn't need episode 2.
Agree. There's on-screen text at the end of this. It's like Armie Hammer declined to be interviewed, and everything's under investigation. They have this website, showing signs of an unhealthy relationship. And I'll tell you the website just in case anyone here is in an unhealthy relationship or wants to check. It's joinonelove.org. But all of this kind of seems like lip service.
Yeah.
So now we are on episode 2, Sins of the Father. And we open up with Casey. She's talking about how rich they were. They rub shoulders with royalty. They seem to be the perfect family. So Casey, so this is the family tree. You have Armand, who is the Armie's great granddad. Armand has a son called Julian. Julian has a son called Michael and a daughter called Casey, who is Casey Hammer. And then Michael has Armie, right? So that's where we're at. Yeah. So Armand is Casey's granddad. And she benefited from like being rich and like, living and stuff. And she just kind of like, yeah, it's time to stop the cycle. Bearing in mind, this whole documentary, I was thinking to myself, Armie has kids. So if this continues, like, that's just a future generation, like, still to be fucked. But hopefully that'll be the end of it. Yeah, hopefully. So also, You know Army's dad, Michael Hammer, yeah?
Yeah.
He was in, you know that documentary we did, and Made You Look?
Yep. I was going to say to you,
do you remember that
he was the owner of Nodler.
Yeah, the Nodler Gallery, that Anne, whatever her name is. Listen, yeah, I was like, I saw that picture of him, and they used that same picture in the documentary. That's why I recognised it, because I had such a visceral reaction to him being orange, and his hairline was way back. I remember feeling like, oh my God, I know this.
And didn't they even say that he lived like a wild life?
Yeah, they didn't even mention it like that. They did really. Think of how much more there is to this family, yeah, that didn't make it to the documentary. Because I literally was like, why do I know that? That episode is really good as well. Made You Look. That I think it's 42. I don't know. Anyway, that I literally was like, why do I know? I was like, why do I know this face?
That face, yeah,
mate. So it's Christmas Eve.
He has the same energy as that guy, that the black guy that's always in the forest talking with the brown eyes. Like when you see him, you
his eyes are always
yeah.
I know you don't watch Drag Race, yeah, but there's this drag queen called Mayhem Miller, yeah, and her eyes are always just like like literally it's just giving that guy in the forest and this guy.
That guy in the forest is fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's actually scary. The one that shouted and the white woman was like, whoa, that one. Yeah. So it's Christmas Eve and Casey is 5 and she wakes up to her parents screaming. She sees her dad slap her mum and she sees blood, but she gets told to go back to bed. This happens often and it gets worse as time goes by, and when things like this would happen, her and her mum would sneak off to a motel to give the dad time to cool off, and then they would come home. Which, okay. Whenever the mum wanted to leave, Armand, the granddad, so Army's great granddad, would threaten to ruin her life, which he really could have done, right? So everyone played by his rules. He basically controlled everyone. He even recorded phone calls, like they bugged the phones and recorded phone calls. His whole thing is like, you know, no one can be smirchified, the family name, like everyone's got to be in line, in order, like we are the Hammers, right?
Yeah.
We meet Neil Linden, a political and media consultant, and he tells us like Armand he has a lot of clout. Yeah, that's the only way I can describe it. He's been in the Kremlin, he's been at Buckingham Palace, he's been at the White House. Like, money can really, like, it's a different ballgame when you have enough money.
Money buys you choice, as my mum would say.
Honestly. So Casey's mum leaves her dad, Julian, when Casey's 11. And Armand, as promised, ruins her life. Yeah. So the dad only has to pay $200 in child support. This is coming from a billionaire family. So
it's a very scary world.
Very scary world. And I feel like this is not the same, but do you remember that time in college, yeah? Where you, Liz and that were sitting at the back of the bus and I was sitting like in the middle with those 2 other girls, yeah? And then I don't know what it was, like I got up and moved to the back and I was like chilling with you guys. And after that we were just like friends from the beginning, yeah? And I was just like, that was in my head a very defining moment. I don't know what possessed me to come and chill with you crazy people, yeah? But like literally at that moment, like my life could have gone 2 different ways. Do you know what I mean?
You'd have been very different right now.
Yeah, and in this situation, it's like Michael goes to stay with his dad and Casey stays with her mum.
And that was the defining moment.
And that was the defining moment, honestly. So Michael would... Casey says, you know, whenever she goes to the house, there's always like 16 and 17-year-old girls at the house. And Michael would take his friends there. There's a big bowl of cocaine and just free drugs and old men and young girls. Like a bowl of... Like, you know, imagine you go and get cereal in the morning, yeah? That's the bowl of cocaine. That's how much cocaine there is, yeah? Just free reign. Help yourself.
Was this the 80s or?
Probably actually, because Thingy died in 1990, so it must have been the 80s. Yeah, that makes sense.
80s was cocaine.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and they're rich as well, so it wouldn't have been crack. It would have been cocaine.
Yeah, proper pure
the good stuff.
Colombian, yeah, the good stuff.
So one time Casey finds Polaroids. Basically, they're just big orgies. They're just big drug infested orgies. I didn't want to say orgies because that implies consent. It's just young girls getting raped by old men.
Yeah,
in a big room. Yeah. So then we find out about
I'm sorry, but this son is the Job Bluth of the family.
Who is?
Michael, Julian.
Yeah.
Julian is Job Bluth.
Yeah.
Just useless.
Yeah,
like,
useless.
Good
and
time.
To be useless.
Yeah, good time guy. Can't do.
I don't think they have a Michael, like as in Michael in Arrested Development. They don't have one of those because there's no. Maybe Casey is the Michael.
Yeah, maybe Casey's probably the Michael. Like if she was given any sort of responsibility, she'd probably be the Michael.
Yeah, because he's trying to sort the family out, but no one else really cares. But in this family, it doesn't seem like anyone's trying to sort it out.
I think Casey would have if she was given the opportunity.
Yeah, but I think she also was like, "Fuck this shit," and I think it's because Casey's a girl that she even is not too involved. I reckon if she was a boy, she would have been sucked right on in.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they didn't rate her. They were just kind of like, "Okay, you woman,
just be there, be pretty,
just be pretty." We'll fund your life
and
don't embarrass us.
Yeah.
So Army has a Finsta, which is El Destructo 86, where he just posts recklessly. Like, he posts his face, like, he just posts recklessly. He posts when he's taking drugs while driving. He posts when he's drinking. Like, it's just reckless, and people find it, of course. Next, we meet Edward Epstein. He writes a profile on Armand Hammer. It follows him everywhere. It kind of reminds me of, you know, the Most Hated Man that we did?
Yeah.
When those journalists follow him around doing his nonsense so they can write about him. That's basically him in the 80s, yeah? So he keeps his public and private life very separate, which I think is fine, yeah? Keeping your public and private life separate is fine, but when your private life is just abuse and madness, like, that's a big difference. Do you know what I mean? Like, of course, you're not keeping it separate, you're hiding it, yeah? He's been married 3 times. Yeah, this, guys, just everybody pay attention, yeah? Everyone pay attention. Hold on to your fucking chairs, yeah? So he has a first wife named Olga. That didn't work out because she wanted to be LA, she wanted to be a Hollywood star, and he wanted to be in New York. That didn't work out. Second wife, Angela. He says, according to him, she's an alcoholic, so he divorces her after 10 years. She says, oh, you know, he threatened her and whatever. So now Francis, wife number 3, and his wife, he married her for money because she came from a rich family. And with said money, he went into the oil business, and that's where he gets his Occidental Petroleum, whatever. So he's a sugar baby, first of all, yeah? And then he has a mistress. She's introduced to us as Martha and Hillary. And you think, Martha and Hillary? Wow, strange, yeah? So her name is Martha. She has, like, guys, when I say her name is Martha, she has brunette hair, yeah? Francis, the wife, finds out and is like, I don't want you seeing her anymore. Cut that shit off. Enough is enough, yeah? So instead of cutting it off, he makes Martha change her name to Hillary and gives her a blonde wig to wear. And then she's in the house as the cleaner or whatever. Like, she's very much involved, and they're still carrying on their affair. According to him, Francis, till the day she died, did not know that Martha was Hillary.
Francis is dumb as fuck.
And to that I say, Francis is dumb as fuck.
There's this. Oh, it's a series of unfortunate events. Have you watched that on Netflix?
The Lemony Snicket thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't remember
And every time, you haven't watched it?
I have, but I don't remember it.
Okay, but every time that guy, Count Olaf, literally, he'll wear a wig and nobody will recognize him but the kids. Then he'll change his suit jacket and everybody will be like, but it's not Count Olaf. And the kids are like, it's fucking Count Olaf. Yeah, like, you guys need to protect us. And this
open
is
your
exactly,
eyes.
Open your eye. Like, this is exactly the same thing.
It's
what
ridiculous.
do you mean? And this synthetic wig as well. We see the picture, yeah. What do you mean you didn't recognize it?
The shiniest wig.
It's like you saying you don't recognize me because instead of the slick back ponytail, now I have passion twist.
It's very ridiculous. But do you know what? There is like racial blindness, right? Whereas, like, to me, all white guys might look the same, or I might find it more difficult to differentiate between white guys that have similar features. Whereas I could be watching an episode of Real Housewives and see Nene with braids one day, Nene with the orange wig, Nene with that ugly Afro she had, and know straight away that it's Nene. Do you know what I mean? Or see Kenya, Nene, whatever, and know that they're different people, right? However, Frances was also white.
Own race.
So I don't understand. I was desperately trying to find an explanation for sis because she's been cheated on. She's been duped, yeah?
But what do you mean you said hello and shook her hand and you didn't know it was the same person?
You didn't know it was her?
Like, what do you fucking mean?
So when you say you caught them cheating, maybe she didn't see the details of the face.
Maybe she just saw the back of her.
Maybe she just saw the back.
Maybe it was doggy. And
maybe it was doggy. Maybe.
Because she just saw her man's wrinkly ass. I
was like, how did this work? How did she not find out?
Nah, Frances was dumb. No wonder she got married for money. Like,
fam, she's a sugar mama.
Yeah,
didn't even know it.
That's 7 different types of crazy. The fuck do you mean you didn't recognize? If it's this easy,
did you even try?
Fam, if it's this easy to deceive these people, then boy,
millionaire status soon come. So we hear similarities between the way that Army and Armand, so in case you didn't know, Army was named after Armand, how they treat women. So they're humiliating, they're controlling, they're stalking, they're strange. Because he would also, big Army, would also stalk Martha / Hillary's, stalk her, would also like tap her phone lines, that kind of stuff. So now we get into Julian Hammer, who is Army's granddad and Armand's son. And he is arrested for threatening a man with a shotgun. So they actually interviewed the woman who's part of the story. Her name is Kathy Bowl. So the story is she's working for Julian as a cleaner. And he convinces her to leave her husband. And she does. And then 6 months after that, they get engaged. and then he gets really possessive. So one night he takes her to a bar, and she starts to notice that he's not really flirting with her. He's not giving her any attention. He's flirting with some of the guys that are there. And then she's like, they kind
of gloss over this in the documentary though. I thought we'd have more like conversation about, I guess his sexuality is not pivotal, but
yeah, because then she clocks us a gay bar, and she says it in a way where it's kind of like, okay, let's not shame the gay part, let's shame the adultery part, like let's shame the fact that, like,
which I rate.
Yeah, as let's shame the part that like he is cheating on you in your face. Do you know what I mean? Like, these men are prolific. Anyway, she's like, fuck this shit, and so she leaves and she hitchhikes. That's how you know it's the 80s. She hitchhikes, sticks her thumb up, and she hitchhikes a ride home from this guy. He's 19 and his name is Gary Bowers. So he drops her home. As he's leaving, Julian comes in and sees this and gets his gun and threatens him. So then Kathy tells us about another time where, again, he gets his gun. She's kind of like, his gun is like his safe place. Like, anytime he's annoyed, or if he feels a little bit, you know, if his ego is damaged a little bit, he'll go and grab his gun. So at this point, she's like, nope, I've had enough. And they wrestle over the gun. It goes off, leaves a hole in the ceiling. And she's kind of like to us, you know, my 9-month-old baby was in the room. Like, what if it had ricocheted?
But this baby has been 9 months old since she started the relationship. And they were together for 6 months. So.
I said, so were you pregnant at the time or what? Because I thought the same thing. I was like, you said 9 months old. Months in advance, the baby's not aging.
Do you know I find a 9-month-old baby really weird?
Why?
Because the gestation period is 9 months. So when they're like 9 months, I don't know why.
It's like even. Like you've been outside as much as you've been cooking.
Yeah. I don't know why. Like whenever someone says, "Oh, my baby's 9 months," I find it really like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why. It really like irks me. Like I'm like, oh, like
you're like, eesh.
God, like something about it is weird. It's like two sides of the same coin.
I get what you mean. It's like a mirror image. It's like the timeline is 0 and it's like -9 and +9. Yeah. I hear you. I don't know why I understand you, but I do.
Yeah, I don't want, like, obviously I want my kid to reach 9 months, but I think that month I'm just not going to talk about it.
Just gloss over it. Just be like, he's 8 months. He's 10 months.
Yeah. Oh, guys, he's 10 months now.
I'm not saying my baby is less than 1. Until he's 1, then he's 1.
Fam.
Well, how's the baby?
I'll be like,
almost 1.
He's alive. That's all you need to know.
And
that nigga alive.
Do you know what I'm obsessed with watching? You know those like baby accounts where they like feed the baby?
Rue,
yeah. But there's also another one. I don't remember her name. It's like Sana, and I think they're black, or at least like more black.
Rue is black adjacent.
Yeah. But then they're darker, of a darker hue.
Oh, okay.
It's Sana, and when I find it, I'll send it to you. But they do the same thing basically, and it's just so cute.
Did you see that TikTok I posted? It was like a clip from American Horror Story, and then she's watching like Rue, and it's like, and today we fed Rue, and it's like 2 a.m. You didn't see it?
No, what on Instagram?
On Insta, I posted it ages ago.
Oh, no, I don't remember
basically all I fucking do now, post TikToks that I see.
know.
But yeah, no, but that's literally me. I will be up at 2 o'clock. Like, what did Rue eat today? How did she eat it? What was her face like?
I'm like, is she self-feeding now? Is she holding the spoon? Is she loading her spoon
she's
by
getting
herself?
better. Like, literally, I look at the I'm like, she's really, really improving. Look at the grip on the spoon.
Yeah,
like,
literally, she is. Honestly, I'm like, look at her. She didn't spill as much today.
Literally. Oh no, I think I'm gonna do that when I have a kid. You know
what? TikToks.
Yeah, the food ones, because it's in line with what I want to do anyways. And I have been saying for a long time I'd make my kids food, like when they're a baby. And
you can make mine food as well. I'll bring them around.
That's how Liz said, that I haven't been cooking for you guys in a while, that anyway she's moving, so when I come to the house I can cook. I was like, 100%. Nigga, what are you and Uzi gonna be doing? Like, why am I entering the kitchen to cook in your house?
Yeah, but also you like to cook, you enjoy cooking, so it's like me allowing you to do what you love. Why would I not do that as your friend?
Okay, thank you. I also enjoy sex. How are you going to sort out the long distance situation?
I don't have the parts that you require.
Okay.
So there's that.
Well, if you were a true friend, you'd find them.
Okay.
So there we go.
Okay. So after this shooting incident in which the baby could have been harmed, she leaves him. And so she tells us that he could get away with anything.
Bottom line, he could do whatever he wanted. He could get away with murder. And he did.
He could even get away with murder, and that he actually did. And then it's like, dun, 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 dun. That's not the end of the episode, but that's the end of our episode. And this next episode is going to be up at the same time as a little gift, a little treat. So you can listen to that right now. But before you go, it's time for...
The real crime, I think, was the beard.
Our segment where we focus on something during the documentary that may not be criminal, but we definitely consider to be a crime. This spans both episodes we've done so far. What do you have?
Michael. I said it. I said what I said, and I said it again.
What I said.
Michael Hammer is the crime. He literally. I can't emphasize this enough. He gives me that if I was jogging in the park like that poor woman was, and I saw Michael in the park, I'd scream. Yeah. Just his look. He has a very striking in a very bad way. Yeah. He frightens me. I find him so scary.
And he didn't look that scary before. When he was younger.
No, he just...
You could see you could see it keep creeping through. He did kind of always look a bit off, but it wasn't scary.
Yeah, he gave
now
deviant
it's frightening.
Vibes. Yeah, it's frightening. The contrast between the skin and the eyes and the hair.
And the hair. It's the hairline. It's giving Shakespeare.
It's insane.
But not quite.
It's insane. Yeah, it's insane.
Mine was the bowl of cocaine. Because a bowl of cocaine... Do you know how much money is in that bowl?
I know.
That's wild.
I know.
All right, well... That's it for this episode. Next episode is going to be up, so you can listen to that next. And we'll be going over the second half of episode 2 and episode 3.
Yeah, I'll probably skim through. Not skim, but I don't know how much detail go into in the second half.
Episode 2, yeah.
Yeah, it's just it wasn't giving at this point. You've spoken enough about the family. I think they just wanted to give Casey some points, which is fair enough.
Yeah, basically. I think that's, I agree. Oh, but yeah, guys, if you're still here, then can you rate us 5 stars wherever you are listening to the podcast? Because you made it all the way here, so you must have enjoyed it, or at least hated it enough to listen still, in which case you should still rate it. Thanks to all the new listeners. We appreciate you all. Make sure you share with a friend or 2. If you don't have any friends, share with some family members. Just share.
If you don't have family, then just share.
Then share with church members. If you don't go to church, maybe to the gym. Share with someone at the gym. If you don't go to the gym, maybe at work. If you don't work, maybe at school there'll be someone there. There's someone you can
somewhere that you can share with.
If you don't go to school, your neighbours are right there. You have neighbours. Literally. If you are homeless, then
then how are you listening? We'd really love to know that story.
Oh my goodness gracious! If you are homeless, then we really hope that you find a home soon.
But do you remember when Biscuit? I was saying this to Liz.
When he grabbed his mum's bum.
No, forget that bit. But yeah,
when he said that he stopped stabbings.
No, but there was a time when he was going around and asking people how did you become homeless? And I was like, can you fucking imagine thinking about where you're going to eat next, or where you're going to sleep?
And some random guy who grabs his mum's ass is asking you.
How'd you become? I would stab him.
I'm not gonna lie. If I saw Biscuit asking a homeless person that, and the homeless person swung for him, I would turn my back.
Literally, I did not see nothing.
I saw nothing, sir.
But yeah, all right, guys.
All right, until next time, which is gonna be right now because the episode will be up.
Yeah.